Joe here for Joyrider TV, live from the Wild Wind Boat Park. Very exciting times. The Wild Wind Boat Park has been quite slimmed down since last week, and perhaps even more since the week before. Now, the sum total of what we've got in the Wild Wind Boat Park is Hobie 16, number 6. And that is it. Number 6 has been the lucky winner, selected to be the featured 16. Hi Dawson, hi Arthur, nice to have you guys on board. Welcome to the Wild Wind Boat Park for some more scintillating repartee. Hello Logan, hello Europe Sailing, thanks for coming. Makes it all seem worthwhile when there are people here as well. Hi Robin, morning. Yes, I'm at the other end of the day, but I'll take your word for it. How's the weather in Florida at the moment? I bet it's very nice indeed. Just guessing, it might not be, but hi Karis. Yo Dave, how you doing, man? Yeah. Hi Hutchie. Hi Jay Kajhen. Ah, Yanko, nice to have you on board. Yeah, Julia Kakosi. Herbert, nice to have you on board. Kind of rainy today in Florida. Sorry to hear that. Hi, Donovan. Thanks for the new flag. Just got it. Yes, that's the result. I can't remember if that came from, if James sent that out or if I did. Hi, Martin. James is, he's got a supply of flags stateside. Hi, Tyler. Oh, hold on, here we go. Looking forward to picking up a used Hobie 16 2021. Really appreciate your channel. Oh, it was from James, nice. Yeah, great stuff, Tyler. If, like I've said before, if you find a used boat on a website which is advertising used boats and you'd like to send me the link, I can have a look over it and let you know. I've decided I'm not very good at what the price should be of boats, because it's kind of like the newer boats, I think the price should come down, and the older boats, the price should come up a little bit, because Hobie 16s especially are priceless, regardless of how old they are. But of course, if it's going to be worth some money, it's got to be seaworthy, and the hulls have got to be in good shape. No soft bits. That's what we're looking for. All right. Yeah, so as I was saying, James is, I can't remember whereabouts he is in the USA, but he's somewhere sort of North Carolina kind of way in the USA, and he's got stock of the Giving It the Beans flags. In fact, I think his stock is pretty low, which means if you are in the States and you want to get a flag, then it's not going to take quite as long to get hold of it. Whereas if you get one sent from Greece, it's going to take you all day. Oh, James is in Atlanta. There we go. All right, just scrolling back. This is, we're off to, I think we're off to a flying start. I think you'll find. Yeah, so it has been return of this sort of champagne weather here, but the wind has just literally just turned in the last 20 minutes. So if you're saying that looks amazing sailing conditions, which it does, why you're not out there, it's because I'm here talking to you guys. It does look very good, probably about 15, maybe 12 to 15 knots. Water is totally flat and the bay is deserted. And now I know that the capsized bag is a proven winner. I don't have any reservations about giving it the beans single-handed with no safety cover, now that I know that I can definitely get the boat back upright on my own using the bag. Don't forget the bag. That is what I'm telling myself even now. Hi Ralph P. Joe, difference between original and second market tramps. Are the second markets really that bad? No, it just depends on, of course, if the trampoline that's not original is the right shape and size. You're not going to believe it, but we've actually got, oh, it's an aftermarket trampoline. This one's made by OS3 Sales, and I would say absolutely brilliant. The original ones, you are guaranteed with an original trampoline that it will fit perfectly, it'll be of a very high quality, and it will look good. So it is good if you're going to go for an aftermarket trampoline, like a trampoline that's been made by another sailmaker, to just find out if other people have had a trampoline. Same thing goes for sails. If other people have had sails or a trampoline made by that sailmaker before, and what they thought of it, because even a trampoline from just another sailmaker, it's going to be pretty expensive. I think a trampoline is probably, just guessing here, but probably something in the region of about 550, 600, either dollars or euros or whatever money you're using these days. So even one made by a sailmaker is going to be pretty expensive, because they're more likely to be making like a one-off trampoline or just a small stock, whereas Hobie are making hundreds. So it is going to be quite expensive regardless of who you get it from. So make sure that who you're getting it from, other people have had a trampoline or sales from them before, and that people have said, yes, they're really good. That is what I think about getting a trampoline that is non-original. So you can end up with an absolute corker. Like the OS3 ones, they look absolutely fantastic in this marvellous grey with the blue trim. Red trim is available also. Yeah, so there you go. Right, let's flip this round. Let's scroll this back. Okay. Hello, lol pop. And hello, Christian G13. Nice to have you on board. Okay, Tyler says, my dad used to sail them as well, and he could show you the ropes. Nice. It's good. Even with all this information that is available on the internet, such as the joyridertv channel for learning how to sail one of these boats, there's nothing to give you more confidence than going out on one with somebody who's done it before. Because if the wind is not particularly light, you can get quite intimidated quite quickly by such a boat as a Hobie 16, because although it is the most popular catamaran in the world, it is pretty powerful. So if you don't treat it with respect, it can get away from you and can turn quite a nice day into quite a white knuckled day out where you feel glad to get back to the beach. Okay, scrolling back. All right, scrolling back. Okay, Dave. It's great to have you back, Dave. I've missed you. Somehow Dave got blocked from making comments on the videos. Now he's back, which is great news. So hello, Dave. Looking forward to seeing your boat on Show Us Your Cat at some point with the new look. Okay, got a boat and trailer in Raleigh, North Carolina. I think that was probably in response to somebody looking for a 16. Hi, Kush. Nice to have you on board as ever. All right, are you going to get a foiler at Wildwind for the 2021 season? Well, hopefully, if by some remarkable miracle things calm down, I've got a plan, you see. My plan is that I'm going to travel to Belgium to meet up with a load of Belgian people, but the most important, the main reason is to meet up with Laurent, who is the European agent, and I believe he's now a major holder of the company of Goodall Design, and speak to him about whether we can get hold of this foiling F16. Where in Belgium? That is a good question. I think he might. I think in Zeebrugge. I think he's in Zeebrugge or somewhere around that sort of way. I can't really remember. I'll obviously look at a map before I go. So I want to meet up with him and meet some other guys around there and see what we can do for next year, because Laurent is very keen to get the Goodall boats out into the world so that people can see them and try them. So what we're looking at is the foiling F16 Viper, which is a convertible. Hi Antoine. Yeah, we'll have a big party. If I do make it to Belgium, I'll let everyone know, and we'll have some sort of party somewhere where we can have a live Q&A from Belgium, live with real people, live in the flesh. How good would that be? That would excite me greatly. But that's my plan anyway, to go and see if I can score some boats. Europe Sailing, love your videos, thank you very much. I love that you love the videos. It makes it all seem very much worthwhile. Sorry that the video production has slowed down significantly, but that is always a feature of this time of year. Just waiting for the dust to settle, still quite a few odds and ends that I'm sorting out. And then hopefully, in fact, tomorrow afternoon, I'll be able to get out on the water on number 6 here and go out and send it. The forecast looking pretty good. Northwesterly wind, something like 15 to 20 knots. Capsized writing bag in the pocket. Eat more Greek food and grow a foot, and you can ride your boat solo. These are some top tips. Yeah, Giles suggested, Giles from somewhere, I think in the northeast of the UK, who's got a 16, he suggested with Christmas coming up, I know it's a little way off, eat more mince pies. See how many mince pies it takes before you can ride the boat solo. I think that's a very good plan. Hello, Scott B. Best way to learn to sail? Good question. If you're talking to learn to sail from scratch, having never done any sailing before, I would say find out where your nearest sailing club is, or if there's some sort of sailing centre, or if you could get in touch with somebody in your local area who already sails and get out on the water with some sort of supervision by somebody with some experience first. That would be a good way of getting your first time out. And then from then, there's a lot of different methods that you could get into the sport. One would be to get hold of a boat. I think that would be a start. A lot of clubs or organisations have boats which are available to rent. So it's quite a good idea to rent a boat to start with. Maybe they even rent a boat with a session where you get a lesson plus having the boat included, that kind of thing. It's just to go out and buy a boat and then kind of like work out how to sail it. It's quite a tall order, but depends on the venue to a large degree. If you're in a venue with fairly friendly conditions and an easy launch, and there are other boats around, other people sailing, then there's nothing to say you can't just get your own boat and watch the videos like the fundamentals of sailing, beginner sailing lessons, those kind of things. Watch them about 50 times each, then get out on the water. And but most importantly, making sure that the conditions are friendly and there are other people about to help you out if things go a little bit pear-shaped. Yeah, but talk to some experienced sailors who you can actually get involved with. That would be a good first step, or go to a place offering lessons, I would say. Hello, Mario. Keep doing that. Hobie 16, Italy supporter. Nice one. Nice to have you on board just across the Adriatic there. Haha, Donovan says, watch Joe's videos. That's how I learned. What a great idea. All right, Anton, any... Yes, us. Any tips for foiling laser? Because I also have a foiling laser, but foiling is hard. Okay, main thing with the foiling laser is you've got to keep the boat flat. And flat or even heeled slightly to windward. I don't know if you saw the video that I did about 2 years ago, foiling with the wedge. We actually built, well, Marco, who builds stuff, he built this wedge, like a sort of triangular piece, like a large, massive piece of cheese that sat on the side of the laser. And it meant that you could really easily heel the boat to windward. And when a boat is heeling to windward, if you've got enough wind, it gets up on if really easily. Whereas a lot of the time, if you think the boat is flat, if you think the boat is flat, you're actually heeling to leeward. And if you're heeling to leeward, the boat isn't going to foil. That is most people's problems with the foiling laser especially. And then if you get that windward heel on, she should take off really nicely. And then if you can keep the windward heel on, that is the secret to keeping it flying, in my opinion. Okay, scrolling back. Good to have you all on board, by the way. Thanks for coming. It's nice. We've got pretty champagne-like conditions here in Vasiliki, but it has only just kicked in. Hi, Matthew. Nice to have you on board. Hi, Valentine. Hi, Karis. So, I filled my bow tang with epoxy, resin and fiberglass. I was wondering if you knew the specifications for re-drilling it. No. But what I would do is, you've obviously got the bolt, which, because the main thing is you don't want the hole that you drill through to be bigger than the bolt that's going to go in it. So take the bolt out, measure the bolt, get a drill bit exactly the same size, drill it, make sure you're drilling it absolutely straight, and then get that bad boy in there. And that should, I would think that would do it. So yeah, that is all I can say on that topic. I've never actually done it myself. Oh, Dave says, where are you, Tyler? I think Dave's offering you a sale on a 16. That's nice. So Tyler, meet Dave. Dave, by the way, is Hobie 16 Amateur Hour. He's called Hobie 16 Amateur Hour, but he's actually a very good Hobie 16 sailor. So okay, moving on. Valentine. Hi, Joe. Why don't you sail the F-18s with the cruise sheeting instead of the helm? Yeah, I know you will have noticed that in all of my F-18 videos that I play the main sheet myself. Now, the reason that I do that largely is because the people that I'm sailing with are, a lot of the time, I'm sailing with them for the first time in fairly strong, maybe gusty conditions, and perhaps I've got trust issues, I think. Okay, for those of you who don't know, on F-18s, Tornadoes, those sort of boats, the normal situation is that the crew has the main sheet on the upwind leg so that the mainsail can be constantly adjusted in these double trapezing conditions. And it's really, really efficient. You can really crank the maining because the crew's obviously got two hands to use. And then the helm can really focus on steering the boat, perhaps adjusting the downhaul a bit, or the traveller if necessary. Now, there was a chap called Joe out in the summer from Germany who's a tiger sailor, and I went out sailing tiger sailing with Joe several times, and I crewed for Joe, and I took the main sheet, and it was absolutely gangbusters. Loved it. And one of my intentions for the season was to make a crewing the F-18 video. So I was going to play the main sheet and do all that stuff, and pull the spinnaker up, do the dagger boards, all the hard work that goes on at the front end of the boat with somebody else steering. That was my intention. But with the last couple of weeks of the season, there being no wind, it meant I didn't actually get on to doing that video. But that is definitely the method if you want to sail fast on an F-18 or that sort of boat, is with the crew playing the main sheet. But as I said, the reason that I haven't done it in the videos that I've made, it's trust issues, where I don't trust the crew enough to let the main sheet out at the right time, and too many swims might ruin my hair. The old school technique is setting the main sheet in the cleat and using the downhaul only. Yeah, so this is what I've still been doing at the race meetings, because we haven't had a chance. A lot of the time when I'm sailing with John is don't have time to practice that much. So I'm playing the main sheet myself and he's playing the downhaul. So with the crew playing the downhaul, it means you've got a very, what would you say, very efficient sail shape at all times, because if the crew's playing the downhaul with both hands, he can really manipulate the shape of the sail with the downhaul, which is really nice. And another reason why I'm playing the main sheet a bit more is because I go sailing so much that I've got, not bragging or anything, but I feel like I have the power to be able to play the main sheet with one hand, whereas others might struggle with the power. Not saying anything, but that is another reason. But nice question. It's very nice, in fact, that even I was thinking before I entered into doing this evening, that surely all the questions that are out there have been asked by now, but no, there's questions that we haven't had yet. So thanks very much for the new questions. All right, Valentine says, try giving your crew the main sheets, it will improve your steering. The other thing with the getting in sync with the crew, if the crew's got the main sheet, is because in the gusts, you don't want to just use the main sheet or the steering. It wants to be a combination of the two. So training as a team is essential to make it work really efficiently. Yeah, so there we go. All right, moving on. Oren Ray, hello to you as well. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, Tyler is in Texas. Okay, there are Texans out there who sail. I know this for a fact. Right, moving on. Oren says, will you do some foil catamaran explanation, how to sail a foiler? Okay, I certainly will once I've learned how to do it myself, because I've never sailed a foiling catamaran, just because I've never had the opportunity. And as soon as I can, by having one here, there will be, I think there'll be a lot of videos about the foiling catamarans. So yes and yes to that, but in the future. All right, scrolling back. All right, CBob64. Hi, nice to have you on board. Okay, CBob64 asks, do you recommend to leave the rudders on cam or leave them on the ground to prevent cam wear? No, I'd usually leave them up on the land, because if you have them on the ground, I don't think it matters what the surface is underneath the boat. It's not going to be very nice for the rudder blades, and the wear to the rudder cam, there's not actually going to be any wear to the rudder cam, because you're going to have brought the rudders up for bringing the boat out of the water. So it's actually in a very, very small way it's going to wear the system more to drop them down again and then put them up again. So once you've pulled your rudders up to get the boat out of the water, just leave them up. Occasionally here, because we're leaving the boats on the grass, if it's going to be very windy, the wind's blowing side on to the boats, I might drop the rudder blades down in that situation so the blades are on the grass, just so that they don't get blown across by the wind, which it just looks a bit tidier as well. All right, scrolling back. Good question. These new questions are very good, actually. Well done to everybody. All right, Rodrigo, nice to have you on board. Hi. Any quick tips about weight balance in normal conditions? 10 knots, up and downwind on the 16. What we're trying to do at all times with our balance, balance fore and aft. Okay, is we're trying to keep the boat. So even though on the 16 we've got this curved hull, we're trying to keep the boat level, flat. So let's say the curve is coming off here. So we don't want the front of the boat up and we don't want the front of the boat down. We want it level. So that is what we're doing with the crew movements for forwards and aft meaning backwards on the boat. If you've got two people on the boat, the two people in a forwards and aft motion should be as close together as possible, because that's going to stop the seesawing action. The further apart you've got the people on the boat, you've got more wind resistance, and you've also got this seesawing which could occur. For the specifics, I won't go into the specifics just now. There is a video, would you believe, I did on Hobie 16 crew positions. Unbelievable, I know. Which you'll find in the index of videos, which there's links to that index in any of the non-live videos. In fact, there might be that index linked in the live videos now as well. I'll have to check that. And check out that video, because there is, of course, quite a lot to go through on those crew positions, so I won't go into that in a great amount of detail just now. But the main thing is keep the weight close together and keep the boat flat. As the wind gets stronger, if you're sailing on a off the wind point of sail, so a reach or downwind, then getting your weight a little bit further back, it's then acceptable to have the bow a little bit higher. So if you do get a gust, as the gust hits, it's going to bring the bow down. It's going to bring the bow down a bit, and the boat's going to be flat. Whereas if you've got the boat flat already, if a gust hits, bow goes down, then you might stick the nose in and pitch pole. So better to have that little margin for that. Does that make any sense at all? I think it made sense to me, actually. Yeah, have a bit of margin when it's a bit windier. All right, scrolling back. Scrolling back. Okay, we're scrolling back, by the way. For those of you who are new to these sessions, scrolling back is a big part of what we do here. Hi, Wolfgang. Good seeing you. Cheers from Frankfurt. That's in Germany, by the way, for those who don't. Hello, Hayden. Just got out of class. Yeah. That's right. Midweek school finished. Okay. Can't pronounce your name, I'm afraid there. Why do you prefer the laser over the aero for foiling? The reason I prefer it here is because it's the conditions that we get. Hiya. It's the conditions that we get here, where in the morning we're generally up to about 8 knots, which isn't enough to get anything going. not an aero or a laser on the glide free foils that we use. And then in the afternoon, it's generally over 16 knots, which means that that kind of sweet spot where the aero would get going where the laser wouldn't, because the aero's much lighter, which I would think is around 12 knots, something like that. We're not getting that wind strength here. So when the wind gets stronger than that, the laser is just a lot more of a blunt instrument, where you've got a much... Oh, actually, I was not talking about foiling. Okay, that's good to know. All right, so hold on. I'm going to scroll back to the original question. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's the reason why I'm more of a fan of the laser for foiling than the aero. But I wouldn't say I'm a bigger fan of the laser to the aero generally. It's just I've got more experience sailing the laser than the aero. The aero is a really, really good boat. But I read your question a little bit further down on the scroll back there. It's a bit more technical because the laser is more old-fashioned. So it's a bit less tweakable, although it is extremely tweakable. But with the aero, it's got a carbon mast, and it's got a different shape of sail. It's got more, it's got the same amount of adjustment on the mainsail, but okay, it's probably about the same. But to be honest, I'm not a dinghy sailor. I sail catamaran, so I can't answer this question with much authority, other than I've sailed the laser more than I've sailed the aero. The aero is great fun. It's really light. It probably weighs, it's no more than half the weight of a laser. Really easy to manage on the beach, really quick. It's got a crisp feel, very nice indeed. But the laser has got the numbers. But the aero is getting a lot of support in the, especially in Europe, in the competitions. So there we are. Oh, Valentine, I think still talking about the crew playing the main sheet. What do you prefer, the new or old technique? To be honest, depends. All right, wherever I am on the boat, on the F-18, I want to have the main sheet. If I'm helming, I want to have the main sheet. If I'm crewing, I want to have the main sheet. Is that a bit selfish, or can we live with that? But I want to have the main sheet, because when you've got the main sheet, you're in control of the boat. If you're the crew with the main sheet, you are driving the boat. As you go into an area of less wind, winding that bad boy in, you can really feel the speed pick up. And oh my goodness, that is like having the moon at your fingertips, that moon on a stick that occasionally gets talked about. Very nice. Yeah, so there we go. Okay, Fritz, nice to have you on board. Thanks to you, I bought, oh my goodness, thanks to you, I went and bought a Hobie 14 last week. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so, apologies for that. I don't know what has been going on with the purchase of boats due to these videos, but hopefully that was a good thing that you bought a Hobie 14 last week. I'd certainly see it as a good thing. There will be frustrating times ahead. Do check out the videos you obviously have, I'm sure, on Hobie 14 troubleshooting, because she's a little rascal with the stalling and the difficulties in tacking, but it's an adventure finding the good technique. So yeah, happy days. I'm really pleased for you. This is great. Seabob 64, is the pulley / clamp system on the Hobie 16 race useful for the jib? Mandatory update or nice to have? I'd say nice to have. All right, I think I'm actually almost sat on one here. So here we go. So I'm pretty sure you're talking about this, where where we've got, it's the difference between the kind of slightly newer system to the older system is that we can adjust the jib traveller on the fly while we're going along. So even if you're out on the trapeze, you can adjust the jib traveller. If you're in a racing situation and you're really trying to eke everything out of the boat at all times, perhaps you're trying to save a bit of time when you're approaching the windward mark, then this system is really going to help. But I would say if you're sailing in a recreational manner and you're not racing, then I'd say it's nice, but I would say updating the downhaul system to a 6-to-1 would be the first upgrade that I would make, rather than putting on this on-the-fly jib traveller system. Although once you've got it on, you'll be like, how did we ever live without this? But the system with the little plunger that you lift, slide and drop, because realistically, you don't need to move it that much. Just if you're changing between sailing upwind and downwind, or perhaps if you're sailing upwind and you've decided that the wind strength has increased a fair bit, then you might want to travel the jib out. But otherwise, you don't have to move it that much in a recreational sailing situation. Okay, all right, once again, this is the second time today I'm talking about completely the wrong thing. Okay, what Seabob64 was talking about was this, what's been largely described as the Aussie jib halyard system, where the non-Aussie jib halyard system would just be one line coming down the mast and coming to a cleat, which looks like this, on the front of the mast. But what this system has done is it's given us an extra 1 and 2 blocks, an extra cleat here, and then we'll go into this cleat as illustrated here, and then we'll actually tie it off on this one as well for double security. I would say it's, in my opinion, not worth it. If you've got this system, I would stick with it, because you can get the same amount of tension on with that system. It just requires a little bit more effort. Using this technique, let's see if I can demonstrate the technique. Let's flip this bad boy around. Can we see? Where's the mast? Okay, this technique, which is called sweating the halyard. This comes from traditional sailing tall ships, where once you've got the jib up pretty tight, put a turn around the cleat, then grab the halyard from here, pull it outwards like that, and then tighten up the halyard, and then do that again. Keep repeating that motion until you've got the desired amount of rig tension on. So I'd say also the other reason why I personally wouldn't upgrade to this system is because it involves drilling quite a few holes in the mast. Now, and drilling holes in the mast where there weren't holes before is an invitation for your mast to have more opportunity to leak. And what you don't want is a leaky mast. If you're using a masthead float, a baby bob, then it's not such a problem, but it's better that your mast doesn't leak. Okay, all right, scrolling back. So we're scrolling back here. Okay. Hutchie. First law of catsailing, never trust an unknown new crew. Very wise words. And that's the thing, you see, in the situation that I'm in here at Wildwind, I might be sailing with 5 or 6 different people in an afternoon, and without, you know, you ask people what their level of experience is, but are you then just going to hand them? It's like if you've got if you're driving a car, are you going to let somebody else man the accelerator pedal who you don't know? No, I don't think you will. That's the same as passing the main sheet to a crew that you don't know, although perhaps the results could be slightly less devastating with the boat as it would be with a car. But yeah, exactly. Never trust an unknown crew, and never trust a lot of the ones that you do know. I think that's unless they're particularly good. Hi, Jeffrey from Hale, Michigan. I hope you're doing all right over there. Hope it's not too cold. Oh, Oren is in Israel. Nice. With a, oh, spicy, with a Nacra FC20. Now that is a fast boat. I don't know what I can't remember what the rating is for one of those, but I think it might be a bead quicker than a Tornado on paper. That's a fast boat. Nice. Okay, Mark. Hi, Mark. When sailing fast solo, do you usually stay hooked in? So if you fall off, oh, this is a very good question, actually. So if you fall off, the boat doesn't sail away from you. And if you come off, the boat will typically drag you along. It's not actually something that I've ever considered. I'll obviously be hooked in if it's trapezing conditions and I'm going in and out off the trapeze. But I'd say, yes, that is quite, it's, there's two ways of looking at this, because the way that I've always looked at it is if you're sitting on the trampoline and you're not immediately going to be going out onto the trapeze, you should unhook. So if you do capsize, there's one less thing that you've got to sort out. So you're not going to be hooked into the trapeze. Although, as you say, on the other hand, it means you are attached to the boat. You're not going to be separated with the boat going off on its own, or perhaps if you lose your balance and fall overboard, if you're hooked in, you're going to stay with the boat. It's a very good question, but the only person who can answer that is yourself. But yes, most important though, is if you're sailing solo, do not fall off the boat and let it sail away from you. This would be really, really bad. Even if you've got a safe, even if there's some sort of motorboat or other boats out sailing, you're going to be quite difficult to spot in the water with no boat. So that is why carrying a whistle is a really good idea. A whistle costs about $2, €2, something like that. It's really small. You can have it in your pocket or in your buoyancy aid, and it could mean the difference between you being found and the difference between you not being found. Requires a lot less effort to blow a whistle than it does to shout continuously until you get found. Everybody go out and buy a whistle. And don't fall off the boat. If you are sailing solo, another one is if I'm sailing solo and I fall off the boat, or if I capsize, I will make sure I'm holding on to something. Usually, well, as we know, at all times when we're sailing, we should be holding the main sheet. So you're going to have the main sheet in your hand. If you fall in, then you're just not going to let go of the main sheet. This is the way that I think about it, rather than being hooked into the trapeze unless I'm going to use it. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. That's a really good question, though. I think it's a massive safety consideration, this single-handed falling in. Having a whistle is massive. Just a whistle. It's almost like nothing. Okay, Arno, hi, in Canada. Nice haircut, man, looking sharp. Glad you noticed. Yeah, it was getting in my eyes, so I thought I'd just get rid of it again. All right, scrolling back. Oh, by the way, we're now up to 45 minutes. So if you've got any more questions, get them in right now. Otherwise, you can wait until next week, or put them in the comments, or send me an email or something. But yeah, haven't got that much time as usual. Okay, scrolling back. Okay, Joe 33915. What tips would you give to an instructor teaching beginners cat sailing, something like a Topaz 16 or RS Cat 16? This is quite a big question. So on those boats, very similar to what we do here on the Hobie 15, teaching beginners cat sailing. But I would say, what would I say? Yeah, just keep it fun. Keep it fun. It's all about the fun. People are gonna get it wrong, so expect it. But if people don't get it wrong, they won't know. They won't know. You learn. Here we go. You learn more from getting things wrong than from getting things right. If you get stuff right all the time, you don't learn anything. So if you get things wrong, you find out. Does that make any sense? Yeah. What else? Yeah, and I think the other thing with teaching beginners or generally introducing new people to cat sailing is don't scare them. The catamaran, any catamaran, even the least powerful catamarans, if there's a bit of wind, they're snarling beasts and they will absolutely fly along, which can be quite intimidating to new sailors. So do everything you can to keep the intimidation levels down. So if you've got to teach people sailing and you've got a decent amount of wind, like you've got 20 knots and you've got to go out and teach sailing, don't immediately go, right, this is how fast the boat goes. What I would do is teach people how you can control the boat and sail slowly, even in strong wind. So without the need to trapeze. So we did look at this in a previous video, which I think was called Single-Handed No Trapeze. Same kind of thing. Just get the traveller all the way out, play the main sheet from there, and then the only kind of sketchy bit is the bear away from upwind to downwind. So try to organise your session so you don't have to do that. But there we go. All right. Good question, though. It made me think, that one, as you may have noticed. Scrolling back. Ah, Mark. Hiya. Yeah, so what day of the week is it? Yeah, so this is Mark, who had the wetter trimaran, featured on last week's Show Us Your Cat, who entertained our roving reporter Jeff, and I think some of his Sea Scouts as well. Really nice looking boat, and nice to see something completely different. So Show Us Your Cat, of course, is branching out into the world of trimarans. No more monohulls though, but trimarans, yes. Much better to see you without those sunglasses. It's because it's not even sunny. Yeah, but thanks. Rodrigo, perfect, thanks Joe. Seabob64. Okay, another good question from Seabob here. Do you recommend, have you tried, adding a foot strap near to the rudder on a Hobie 16? No, no, I don't. The reason is, there's a few reasons, but Two reasons. One is that there's such a small amount of hull on a Hobie 16 that if your foot strap isn't kind of right in the middle of the hull, when you're absolutely cranking it in the strong wind, the foot strap on the leeward side might be getting washed in the water, creating more drag, slowing you down. Or if not slowing you down, then certainly it's not going to last very long, getting kind of fireman's hosed with water as you sail along. The other reason I wouldn't is because there's no access to the hull unless you happen to have a hatch in the hull, which means you can't nut and bolt it. The only way you'd be able to fit it is to screw it into the hull, which I wouldn't want to do that, because putting like self-tapping screws into the hull, if you're in the foot strap, maybe someone's trying to be helpful and they lift the back of the boat by the foot strap and it's just attached by screws, they're going to rip the foot strap out, leaving 4 juicy holes in your hull. I'd just say no, don't do it. You don't need to do it. Don't do it. I have had a foot straps on a 16 before, and yes, it is very comfortable between hull and upper part of the hull. No, I wouldn't do it still. No, it is very comfortable to have your foot in a foot strap on a 16 when at the back. Very reassuring, but I'd say unless if you've got a hatch already fitted, so like let's say somebody had to do some work to the boat and they fitted like a hatch here, then that means you can get your arm inside, put the foot strap back here somewhere, excuse the state of the hull here, and then you could do it with some nuts and bolts, put a big plate underneath to spread the load so it's going to be really strong. Then okay, maybe, but if you haven't got that hatch, then I'd say no. Good question. So, oh, here's the view, by the way. Yeah, nice. This is the Greek islands. All right. Okay, scrolling back. No more questions, please. Okay, I'm still scrolling back, by the way. Okay. Hi, Oscar. Nice to have you on board. Oscar bought 3 weeks ago a Hobie 20 Miracle. Now that is one hell of a boat. I think very similar to the Hobie 20 Formula that we used to have. We used to have 2 of them here actually at Wildwind. Really, really good hull shape, and very similar in fact to the F18, even though it's a bigger boat. But very nice. You're going to have a lovely time with that, I'm sure. Jack and Linda, hi. Oh, thanks for all you do for us. Well, you're very welcome. It's a great pleasure to be able to pass on basically what I've learnt from almost a lifetime of catamaran. I know I'm over half of my life has been spent catamaran sailing and teaching catamaran sailing, so it's a great privilege to be able to pass some of this on. Oh, hi James, nice to have you on board. Steve-O, good afternoon. Jumper weather now in Vass, yes. Message my contact at PBSC about the Hobie 16. That's for sale. Okay, nice. Yeah, there was a, if you didn't see it, I put out a short video earlier in the week where there's a chap called John, south coast of the UK, looking for a this is important. There's somebody out there looking for a used Hobie 16, south coast of England. If you know someone with a used Hobie 16, south coast of England, get in touch because John wants to buy one. This is important. We're trying to connect people with boats. Oh, hi Ray, nice to have you, Raymond. Hobie 18 sailor, yeah. Wicked, nice. Okay, Tyler says, in my location, it is likely that I will need to keep my 2B Hobie on a trailer and launch it each time I take it out? Do you have a video on raising the mast solo? Does it take a long time to do? No, it's like a lot of things. Once you've done it a few times, it's not too bad. And everybody has got a method that they use for raising the mast solo. But on a 16, I'm a big fan of the mast hinge, because the bit that makes it difficult is this bit here needs to stay attached to this bit here when you put the mast up, because if this bit jumps out, kadunk, then at the best you have to start again. At the worst, it might hit someone or be a bit of a mess. So raising the mast using the hinge is the method that I like to use. But this is something that we can do in the winter. And in fact, one of these live videos in this of the year, which I think was back in February, was raising the mast single-handed using the hinge. If you rewind in YouTube back to February, I think it was a live video. There we go through this raising the mast using the hinge on a trailer, which is quite specific to what you're doing. But yeah, I will review my own technique, and I'll do another video on a trailer to make it really specific. But thanks. Murillo, hi, nice to have you on board. Robin, I remember you mentioned using plastic spacers between stainless rivets and aluminium mast to prevent corrosion. Oh no, not plastic spacers. What was it that would? No, not plastic spacers. What to prevent this sort of chemical reaction between the stainless steel and the aluminium, you need to use, like, I think it's like a barrier paste, which is kind of like a yellowy colour. Can't remember what it's called, but any stainless steel or aluminium person or a welder, anyone like that will know exactly what the stuff is. But if you're going to be riveting into the mast with stainless, it is a good idea to use this barrier paste to stop this. There's like a, what do you call it, like some sort of chemical reaction between the metals, which gets accelerated by salt water. And we've had it pretty badly here on some of our boats in the past, where we've actually had big holes eaten in the aluminium under bits of stainless. Nasty. All right, can I just remind you, no more questions, please. We have reached our time constraint. We're now into quick answers. All right, Steve-O is just referring back to the if you fall in. Let go of the tiller if you fall in, otherwise you're going to snap your tiller extension. Good point. Nice. Okay, Karis, how expensive are 6-to-1 main sheets and high quality jib sheets? Okay, good question. Go used, I would, on a 6-to-1 main sheet system. If you can, go Harken. Harken is by far, well, it's always been, oh, there we go, Hutchie prevents galvanic corrosion. Oh, there we go. There's a lot of tips there on the chemical reaction. This is nice. This is what the community is all about. Yeah, go for the Harkens if you can, because they're what we've always used on Hobies, and they are very good, high quality. Not to say that other brands of main sheet block are not of a high quality, like your Ronstan or your Lumar or your Seashore or your Holt Allen. All very good, but Harken is just very nice. The cost of which, I would be surprised if you get hold of a main sheet system 6-to-1 for less than about $200, but just keep your eye on things like eBay and places like that for used stuff, especially over the winter where you might have a bit of time. I don't know if you're sailing in the winter, but what we call the winter here in Europe. Keep looking, because this sort of thing does come up. I got really lucky and I found an 8-to-1 Harken main sheet system for £125. Really good condition. Lucky me. But that's because I keep looking. If you keep looking, you're going to find something. Bargains are coming up all the time. With the jib system, yeah, I'm going to move on from there. I haven't really got a good answer for that at this time. I'll have a look. I'll have a think about that and get back to you. All right, no more questions. I have to remind you. 6-toe Ariaga. Hi, my pylons are very worn. I have tried Coca-Cola. Oh, Coca-Cola can. Yeah, right. But it spits them out. Any better ideas? Wow. Yeah, I think what he's talking about here is if you've got a lot of space between the pylon and the casting, to take some of the movement out, you can shove stuff up here. Traditionally, using some sort of aluminium can, like a beer can or a Coke can, shove it up here is a good way. But if you don't want it to get spat out, what you need to do is take the bolt out, shove it up there, get it right up, nice big lump of it, and then drill a hole through it, and then so the bolt goes through that bit of can as well. That would be what I would recommend there. That's all I can think of at this time. But we are into quick answers now. Oh, Karis asks, does anybody know how? Oh, does anyone know any Hobies to donate in the Illinois, Indiana, Michigan area? I'm part of the Lithuanian Sea Scouts and we're looking to rebuild our fleet. This is important. Anybody? Ask people who might know. Let's see if we can find some donor boats. Okay, Kyle, hi. Oh shoot, I've actually made it in time for the live chat. All right, nice to have you on board, Kyle. All right. What's your take on the Nautos blocks over Harken? Ooh. I know at Harken at industry standard, but if you can save a few hundred, I can put that money too. EPO 3s, nice. Yeah, so I don't actually know about this this brand, but I'm certainly going to look it up. I'm always intrigued. Because for me personally, on my Tornado, I definitely need some new spinnaker blocks, and if I can avoid having to pay for Harkens and there's something else that is as good, but at half the price, that's going to be nice. I'm still looking on eBay. Yeah, just read some reviews, find out how well they last. I think it's they might be really good to start with, but then if you use the boat a lot, they might wear out a lot quicker than the Harkens. So that is all that I could suggest at this time. And good luck with the EPO 3s. That is a game changer. Okay. All right. Okay. Everybody's thanks to Hutchie, Javier, and Hutchie again for advice on this preventing this corrosion question. Hi Russell, got here late, playing video at 1.5 speed. Oh nice, to catch up live. Nice to have you on board. Hi Craig in Alabama, nice one. Steve-O says try Diet Coke. Yeah. Okay, nice. All right. I live in Mobile, although, okay, drive semi on way back to Salt City, right back for the weekend. Nice. 5-year warranty they come with, so that's promising. 6 to 1 is under. This is, actually, this is in answer to a previous question as well. So that's brand new, $300 for the 6 to 1. That is inexpensive. That's cheap. So if these blocks are any good, in fact, if you'd like to send me a message or an email, perhaps with a link, then I'll take a look and let you know what I think at the link, because I'm intrigued. That is a really good price. Haha. Oh, Kyle, nice. Everyone go to Patreon and support Joe. He'll help you with all your questions there too. Who knew? Yes, you bet. Yeah, I think that's a very good suggestion. And finally, last one. Hello to Marco in Macedonia. For those of you who don't know where Macedonia is, it's up there. It's just north of the border. To the north of Greece, this is a geography lesson, you have Albania, which is next to the coast. Then next to Albania is Macedonia, which is where Marco is. Hello, Marco. Anyway, that is all we've got time for this afternoon, this evening, whatever time of day it is for you. So thanks very much for tuning in. Hope this has been absolutely enlightening. It has been a lot of fun for me. And I'll be back next week with some more. But with next week's Q&A, do have a look at the time difference with where you are, because I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but here in Greece, the clocks change at the weekend. What do? I suppose they must go forwards to make it less dark in the morning. Very dark in the morning at the moment. So do check the time difference next week. I'll still be on 5:30 Greek time, so just keep an eye on that, because you wouldn't want to miss it now, would you? Anyway, thanks very much, everybody, and I'll see you next week for some more. But hopefully I'll be out tomorrow on the 16 solo, back in time. Fall behind, spring forwards. Fall behind. Back in time. Going back in time, man. All right. She's a rascal. Oh, yeah. All right.